Hello there, everyone. Ashnflash here, and welcome on into my Thor Love and Thunder spoiler review. Today, we're going to go through and talk about a bunch of different topics, starting with non spoilers, and then in spoilers, we're going to have so many different categories and topics if you want to hop around. And then we'll talk about the future of the MCU and the Lego talk, and that just is how accurate the sets were, how well they did, and what else we could have potentially gotten for the movie as well. But let's go ahead and let's jump into non-spoilers. So non-spoilers, I really loved Ragnarok, and going into this, I honestly didn't have too many expectations, if any, and I think that that probably helped. I know that it's being critically not liked, but I think that the general audience will go into this and come out of it really enjoying it. I think that it was very funny. I think that it had a lot of heart. I don't think that it's as good as some people are saying when it comes to some characters and such, which we'll touch on. But yeah, overall, I really enjoyed it, and I look forward to the future when it comes to hopefully seeing some of these characters again. But let's jump into spoilers. And yeah, I want to start and just talk about how this was probably a little bit more of a connected sequel in some regards than Ragnarok was to Thor the Dark World. This filled in a lot of gaps for us. Instead of brushing it off as a joke, it was filling in gaps of what happened between Thor and Jane, and we got to see that. We got to see their relationship. We got to see it fall apart in this, I guess, a montage, I guess you could call it, and I really appreciated that. I think that them brushing it off and like Age of Ultron sort of setting it up where they were like, "Where's Jane? Where's Pepper?" and all that. I think that that was sort of needed. I think even closure for that storyline, and I'm glad that Natalie Portman came back to play the role. But speaking of returning, which is still a part of why I think it's so connected, was it was cool to see Darcy back here. It was cool to see the message from Eric Selvig. And I just feel like it sort of again gave us closure to some of the stuff that was happening on Earth before they came and set up New Asgard, which I think is really important. And I think that, again, in some ways it helped sort of connect this more to the first two movies, even though I think that they're sort of regarded as maybe the lower tier of the MCU, especially the second one. I think I want to talk about Jane first because I really enjoyed everything they did with her. I thought was really, really great. The just introduction of her with having her have cancer. And I think just the only thing that I would say that I would have done differently is maybe just having her lose her hair and everything. I think visually, the transformation between between Jane Foster to the mighty Thor would be a lot more interesting, I think, and adding to the frailness of it, which I think the makeup and everything and the performance and all that was really great. But specifically, though, the transformation, I thought that was really clever because in my mind, I wasn't a fan, and I then again I did some research to read how she can lift it in the comics, but I've never been the biggest fan of just the concept of, oh, she's got cancer and now she's worthy, or at least that's what I went into this hoping it wasn't going to be the case. But they didn't do that. Instead, in that montage, they did this really cool thing where he was bonding with Mjolnir and just saying how much he loved Jane, whether or not he was drunk, but he made this sort of vow like Odin did, whosoever is worthy shall possess the power of Thor. He made this sort of vow for Mjolnir to always protect her. And I thought that was really awesome. And I like that that's what brought Mjolnir back as well, was this duty to protect her. I really thought that was really awesome. I really enjoyed that aspect of it. Um, but yeah, I think that her performance, I'm sad that she's dead. I would have really enjoyed to have her stick around in the future. But again, maybe people from Valhalla can come back. But yeah, let's talk about Thor himself. I think that just the fact alone that Chris Hemsworth is enjoying playing the role speaks for itself. I think that as long as he's having fun, Like, there was talk about, him not enjoying Thor the Dark World and, wanting the character to be killed off or whatever, or written off, and just not wanting to return. And I think that just seeing how happy he is, hearing how passionate he is to talk about the character and things like that in interviews, it's just great. And I really hope that this continues and that he wants to continue playing the role, because I always love seeing Thor, and I think he is a part of the original Trinity for Marvel, and he's the only one left at this point. And yeah, I just want him to continue because he seems like he's having so much fun, and they definitely set that up in the mid-credit scene. And I'm all here for it. I think that his performance was really great. Again, his relationship with Mjolnir and Stormbreaker and all that, and Jane, I thought was just really funny. I really enjoyed all that, and he's having fun. But even some of the heart-to-heart moments, like talking about the Guardians here for a sec, I thought was really sweet. Like Peter's delivery of all those lines about, staring into the eyes of the ones that you love, I thought was really poignant. And I think that it's nice to see how far he's grown as well, and coming to love his family here, as well as just seeing them. I often forget how funny and how great they are until I see them on screen, and I'm not really sure how or what they've been up to since Endgame. I thought they were going on a quest to go look for Gamora or whatever that was, but I don't know. Gorr, I think we should talk about him. I think that the intro was really great, and the whole setup of how he was the strong believer in his one god, and it failed him, and then just everything with the Necro sword and everything like that. I thought was really, really great. And just the performance, like the trailers did a horrible job promoting him, because I remember the lines that they showed, and just even visually looking at him, all I do see is Christian Bale. However, the voice as well just sounded like his Bruce Wayne. In the movie, not one bit did I feel that at all. I didn't feel like I was just looking at a bald Bruce Wayne, which was my fear going into this. I thought that his performance was great. It was so creepy. I don't know why they didn't show more of that. I think, that was just a lot of the scenes that he had, I think, was just really, really great. And the performances and the moments that he had with certain people, with like Valkyrie and even Mighty Thor, I thought was really awesome. I don't agree at all with the statement of this is the best MCU villain. I don't at all agree with that. I think that the performance is great, but he's dead now. I think that what makes a villain more memorable is more and more that you see them and their return and everything like that. Like, that's why Loki's so liked. That's why Thanos is so liked. And I even go to like Ultron, but Ultron's being literally used in so many different things, which I want to talk about in a bit. But with Gorr, performance is great and all that. I would not rank him even in my top 5 Marvel villains, but still incredible performance. And I think that the motivations, however, that he had, and this goal, and he was wanting to kill all the gods, and then decided to go to this being, which again, I'm not a Marvel Comics guy, but I read up about it, with Eternity being this character that here can grant a wish to someone. And his goal was the only way is to take the Bifrost there and then make this wish to get rid of all the gods. And then what I thought was really weird was that Valkyrie and Thor knew about this. So to me, I'm sitting there going like, why didn't you just, do this back in Endgame? Could have saved Iron Man and Black Widow's lives if you knew that this thing existed. Because clearly it's not just a wish of, I want to bring my daughter back. It's a wish of, I want to kill all the gods in the universe. Just like Thanos snapped away half of the universe. So could have brought him back that way. Although I'm also just sort of confused with like what Eternity did. So they brought his daughter back but imbued her with powers, which in the reflection of the water was like this female version of Eternity. So is the daughter Eternity, and that's why she had powers at the end of the movie. I thought that the plot of it, the only time that I was sort of not bored, but just sort of like, all right, let's move it along a bit, was the stuff with Zeus. And I think that went on for a bit too long. I also was very confused by what his accent was. At times it sounded French, at times it sounded Russian, but then also, honestly, the one that it sounded the most like was Common Raw from Battle of the Smithsonian, and with the lisp. And yeah, interesting performance. I thought that, again, it just went on for a bit too long, that whole sequence. I enjoyed him showing off the Thunderbolt. I thought that was really cool. His entrance was meh, but yeah, throwing around the Thunderbolt and all that, I thought was a lot of fun. And then him, in quotations, dying and all that. But yeah, I wish that we had seen maybe some more recognizable gods. But again, I want to talk about the comedy in this. I thought was really great. Specifically, there was a few jokes that were just really subtle, which I loved. Over there on that planet or that world or whatever, they had Korg's god sitting on a throne of rocks and scissors, and I assume also paper. Probably was holding it together. I didn't notice paper, but I noticed scissors for sure. The other joke that, like, I think only a handful of people laughed at, and it wasn't because it was a bad joke, it was just because no one really understood it, was the Nick Fury joke. His spelling of Nick Fury in his phone, I thought was really awesome because, I spell out Nick Fury when I'm putting in tags, or just comic book readers as well. You'll know the spelling of the name, whereas like moviegoers, you're not going to really recognize the spelling of Nick Fury. And I just thought that was something so simple that it got a good laugh out of a few of us. And I thought that was really great, that it was this sort of not a common joke that everyone would understand, as well as they had one joke, a comment, I think, in the town hall about how we always have like half of Asgard warriors or whatever, sort of. I thought that was sort of meant to be like a joke to Thanos wiping out half of them, or killing half of them on the ship, and then snapping half of them away and all that. Also, Daryl was there from the short, which is incredible. Loved the fact that he was there. Also, with New Asgard, I love how it's a tourist attraction, and I like to think that the cruise ship, or at least one of them, is one that's like under attack from that new like thing, the skit or whatever that you get to watch on the new Disney cruise ship that launched, that shows like Ms. Marvel and Captain America and Captain Marvel and Wasp and Ant-Man. Anyways, also going back to Ultron again. Ultron just keeps popping back, but yeah, I thought of the cruise ships there at the back. It's just so recent with this, and I don't know. Maybe it's the same thing. Let's talk about the future. I really enjoyed seeing Thor and I guess his new daughter, just their life together and everything like that. It reminded me a bit of like that short with Daryl, as well as just seeing wherever they go next, because we know Thor is returning, and then of course we have the post-credit scenes, which the first one showed off that Zeus did live, and that he's sending his son Hercules to go and teach everyone a lesson, which I'm excited about. I thought that was really cool to see Hercules here, and I wouldn't mind if they just toned Zeus back a bit, and I think he'd be a great villain in the future. So yeah, I'm excited about all that. And then even the other ending, and I feel like if and when Thor does die, which I hope isn't anytime soon, it would be nice to see him meet up with Jane in Valhalla. And it was nice to see Heimdall there, and I would be surprised if they got Anthony Hopkins back and his mom as well. But anyways, Lego talk. The Goat Boat is perfect. Like, I really can't express how perfect it is. Like, the figures in there that you're getting, the build in general, like, it is the perfect set. And I don't know how else to say. Like, the figures are so detailed, the new pieces and everything for them is fantastic. And then the two goats as well, I thought were great in the movie. They're great builds, I think, and just the whole ship in general, fantastic. However, that attack on New Asgard set is horrible. Probably my least favorite Marvel set of all time. Just because, first of all, the monster doesn't really appear in the movie. There's nothing specifically looking like that. I think if they had made the chest a cage or something, be kind of cool, I guess. Like you could have Jane or Thor like breaking out. But yeah, it just, or a giant spider or something like this just wasn't it. They got the tentacles, but other than that, like that mouth, that everything else, it just looks like a rejected idea from Hidden Side. They just threw in here. And the figures are nothing new. Like if it was Thor in his black outfit, which, oh my goodness, what a cool outfit. I think would have been great with the fur. And sure, I guess you want to get the most use out of the new Mighty Thor piece there for her. But yeah, Gorr being in there, I guess fine too, but no. And the fact that there's no set with the Guardians either, I think is really sad. I think that this would have been an easy way as well to just have the Guardians be here, have like those chicken bike monsters, would be great having them fight against them or fight against New Asgard. I don't think anyone would be complaining about that set as much if there was just like Star-Lord or someone in there actually interesting. This just was not it. I don't know what that set is, and it's a cheaper alternative for you to get those figures, but you're never going to use those parts because why would you? But yeah, I don't really have any other ideas for stuff, but also I'm going to do a compilation video of like all the reviews of the Thor sets, and I'm going to include Thor's hammer because if you enjoyed seeing Mjolnir here, I know that's not cracked and damaged the set, but really cool to get that set if you want. Like, again, a phenomenal set. But anyways, everyone, I'd love to hear your thoughts on Thor Love and Thunder. What did you think of the movie? But anyways, everyone, I'd love to hear your thoughts on Thor Love and Thunder. What did you think of the movie? What did you think of the performances, the comedy, all that, as well as how do you think LEGO did with the sets? And let me know if you have any ideas yourselves for some sets that you'd like to see LEGO do maybe in the future. As well as I just want to mention that we do have a playlist here of all of the MCU reviews that we've done on the channel. And I also will be doing Ms. Marvel next week. If you've been enjoying watching that over on Disney Plus, we'll have a review out next week when that wraps up. So I hope you guys did enjoy the video. Hope you all have a great day. See you all in the next one.